Former Republican Arizona Senator Jon Kyl joins us right now on these fast-moving developments. Senator, very good to have you.
Thanks, Neil. Good to be with you.
What do you make of that declaring North Korea a state-sponsored terror? Of course, that isn't jolting, but there were many who were arguing use that sort of like the stick to the carrot of negotiations for, detensifying this situation. What do you think?
The problem is that President Bush tried that. They were one of the countries designated as a state sponsor of terrorism. And President Bush took them off of the list in an effort to provide a carrot for the North Koreans to be more cooperative in their denuclearization. It did not work, and I think President Trump has decided it's time to reimpose it now to get their attention, and perhaps next time they negotiate, they'll appreciate the fact that we're not just going to give them carrots, that there are going to be some sticks involved in these negotiations, too.
Will this change North Korea's posture, though? I mean, what if you are a state-sponsored terror? I mean, it's already the most alienated country on the planet. What would change with this designation, Senator?
I think what they're hoping to do is to recreate an opportunity where there are enough bad things happening to North Korea that they finally will come to the table and negotiate from a legitimate position. And then we can talk about perhaps removing some of the sanctions, perhaps removing them from the list of terror-sponsored states, if in fact they change their behavior. But as long as they are doing what they're doing, you might as well call it what it is. It's terrorism. And not try to pretty it up just in an effort to bring them to the bargaining table.
What is your sense of these ongoing tax talks, if we can switch gears? Right now, the president hopeful that he can get a deal by the end of the year. What do you think?
The status right now is that the Senate Finance Committee is writing the technical details of the bill that they passed out of the Finance Committee this last week so that it can be brought to the floor of the Senate at the beginning of next week. And the hope is that within that week, the Senate will approve the bill, and then the Senate and House committees can reconcile the two bills, the bill that passed the House and the bill that might pass the Senate. There are some differences between the bills, but it seems to me that they are all reconcilable. That is to say, you can probably reach some kind of a common understanding. What you have to be wary of is changing too much because of the delicate balance that was struck in the House to get the approval there, and the balance that will have to exist in the Senate, since Democrats will provide no votes whatsoever, and it'll all have to be done on the Republicans, and they only have 2 votes to spare.
And do you think the president compounds that situation, the tenure situation, by going after Senator Jeff Flake of your fine state, by responding to the senator's off-mic comments last week, that he all but wants to be a no vote on tax cuts, saying he will be a no on tax cuts because his political career anyway is toast. What did you think of that?
Well, obviously that doesn't help. The object here is to add the votes until you have 50 or 51 and not to make people mad by calling them names. The fact of the matter is Jeff Flake is a very principled senator. And his vote is going to be based on his idea of what's good for the country, not whether he's in a dispute with President Trump. And that's a good thing because, on balance, I think this bill is helpful to the economy and to the American people.
Do you think that Senator Flake would vote for this tax measure?
I haven't specifically asked him, but he is a conservative Republican who understands how the economy works. And he can appreciate the improvements that the bill will make, particularly for our corporations who are working very hard to compete with companies from other countries. And it's hard because our tax rate is so high. It's 35%, which is the highest among all of the industrialized nations. We need to get that down to the 20% range, which both of these bills do. And if we can, then our businesses can compete. And this isn't some big giveaway to corporations, as the Democrats like to demagogue. The beneficiaries of the tax cuts are the consumers of the businesses, the employees of the businesses, and the owners of the businesses. And those owners represent a lot of pension funds and others who invest in these stocks. So it's a benefit to the American people. And I hope that they're able to get that part of it done.
All right, we'll watch closely. Senator, very good seeing you again.